Truckers call it the Whispering Road. They say once you hear her voice, you never drive alone again. Jake Turner had been a trucker for nearly 15 years. He'd driven coast to coast more times than he could count, and the road had become his only real home. But he'd always hated one route. Highway 6, the old road stretched through endless farmland and forest, a place where radio stations went dead, cell signals dropped, and the silence felt too heavy. Jake had heard the nickname plenty of times, but always brushed it off as truck stop superstition. That changed one night in late October. It was 2:37 a.m. Jake was hauling a shipment of steel beams through a moonless stretch of Highway 6. The cab's dashboard glowed a faint green, and the only sound was the steady hum of the engine. He switched on the CB radio, hoping for some chatter to break the monotony. For a while, nothing came but static. Then, a faint voice slipped through. "You shouldn't be out here." Jake straightened in his seat. "Breaker 19. Say again." No response, just silence, then a soft laugh. He felt the hairs rise on the back of his neck. Truckers did pranks all the time, but this didn't sound like a joke. The voice wasn't playful, it was warning him. As the miles passed, Jake tried to shake it off. He rolled down the window, lit a cigarette, and kept his eyes locked on the road. But something felt wrong when he glanced at his side mirror. His heart nearly stopped. There was someone in the road behind him, a dark figure, too far to make out clearly, just standing in the middle of the highway. Jake blinked, leaned closer to the mirror gun. He gripped the wheel tighter. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe it was a shadow, a trick of the headlights. But a few minutes later, when he checked again, the figure was there. Closer, it was impossible. He was going 65 miles per hour. Nothing human could keep up. Jake turned the radio off, but the whispers didn't stop. They filled the cabin, faint at first, then clearer. "Don't stop. Don't look back." His chest tightened. He muttered under his breath, "Just the road messing with me. Just the road." Then, as he rounded a bend, he caught sight of something that froze his blood. The same shadowy figure stood at the side of the highway, directly beneath a flickering streetlight. This time, Jake could see more. A woman, pale, long hair hanging wet over her shoulders, eyes reflecting the truck's beams like glass. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stared as he rolled past. And in his cab, the whisper returned, louder, "You shouldn't be out here." By the time Jake spotted the faint neon glow of a gas station ahead, his nerves were frayed raw. He pulled in fast, parked near the pumps, and stepped out on shaky legs. Inside, the place was nearly empty. Just an old clerk behind the counter, sipping coffee and reading a magazine. The man looked up as Jake approached, eyes narrowing. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Jake forced a laugh. "Maybe I have. Heard something on the CB saw. Someone on the road." The clerk's face drained of color. He set his coffee down slowly. "You were on Highway 6, weren't you?" Jake nodded. The clerk leaned forward, voice low. "She talks to truckers. Been doing it for years. Some say she was a hitchhiker left for dead. Others say she's old as something that's always haunted that stretch. But once you hear her voice..." He paused, swallowing hard. "Most don't make it this far." Jake felt his stomach twist. "So what happens now?" The clerk shook his head. "That's the thing, nobody knows. The ones who survive, they don't go back." Jake filled up, climbed back into the cab, and sat there in silence. His hands hovered over the wheel. Should he risk finishing the route, or take the long detour, hours out of the way? The radio crackled again before he could decide. "You made it this far, but I'm still here." The voice was clear as day, like she was sitting in the passenger seat. Jake's blood turned to ice. He snapped the radio off, but the whisper lingered in the air, softer now, almost amused. He gripped the wheel, jaw tight, and pulled back onto the road. The highway swallowed him again, dark and endless, and in the rearview mirror she was waiting. No one knows what really happened that night. Jake Turner's truck was found abandoned on the side of Highway 6, engine still running, headlights cutting into the fog. The cab was empty, but drivers still swear that if you take that road after midnight, tune into the right channel, you might hear her voice. And if you see her in your mirror, whatever you do, don't stop.